Hey, what's up guys? So in today's video, we're back out at one of our flip projects here. I don't know if you remember this one previously, but this property was a pre-foreclosure. The renovation has been completed. We've got the house staged. We listed it on the market and we are now pending, and we're gonna make a pretty decent profit on this deal. We're gonna get into the numbers here in a little bit. First, I wanna walk you through the property, show you what we've done, where we were actually able to save some money on the repair budgets. In addition to that, I don't know if you remember last time, but I showed up here and the garage door was hanging off the hinges. We're in a bit of a dicey neighborhood. I was a little nervous that somebody had broken into the property. Thankfully, they had not. As you can see here, the garage door has been replaced and everything's looking good. So this deal from the get-go was a very, very tight one to pencil, and I'm gonna get into a few things where we were able to save some money on the budget that a lot of newer home flippers tend to miss. So this is why we were able to make this deal work and still make a profit. Quite frankly, I just see a lot of newer home flippers just missing in this area. So we're gonna get into all that in this video. But first, let's just go check out this final product and how it looks. So I know I told you that we're in a bit of a dicey neighborhood, and actually a realtor had come over, they were bringing their clients over to the property, and our doorknob and lockbox was literally gone. So somebody in the neighborhood had tried to like break into the property at some point, is what I'm assuming, because literally the doorknob was missing off the front door. Fun times in the house flipping world. So when you are flipping a house in a dicier neighborhood or might be more subject to break-ins, what I like to do is make sure that myself or someone on my team visits the property on a regular basis. You don't want a property just sitting here with a for sale sign out front that everyone is basically like a giant flag saying, hey, this property is vacant. I like to visit them every day or every other day, just a quick drive by, and you walk around, make sure that like nothing has been broken into. It's just a good practice, good rule of thumb to do. So as you can see, this property is staged very, very nicely. I pretty much stage like all of our properties. And if you find a good stager, the prices can vary drastically, and also the look that you're going for. As you can see, our stager is fairly trendy, kind of mid-century look, a lot of kind of like colors that pop in the room, which I think not only do the properties then photo really well, they also show really well when someone's coming to the property. In addition to that, like we don't do a full stage on a house. Like you don't need to stage every single room, all the bedrooms. Like people get the idea of what a bedroom is, but areas like this, like the living room, I believe it is very important to stage living rooms, dining rooms, kitchens. It just makes it feel so much more like a home, and people can feel themselves living in that home. It's just not like an empty, cold room when they walk in. This room in particular, I mean, we don't have a lot of space here. This whole house is like 1,000 square feet. So the room itself is relatively small, but our stager works in a way where they can make the flow of the house feel much bigger, and you can actually see, you're like, oh yeah, there's plenty of room here for all of my things, versus a lot of times people come into a smaller room and end up just feeling like, it's just too small in here to fit all of our things, or you know, our sectional couch or whatever. Versus when you can actually see a living room set up, it's a lot easier to see yourself living here and overcome a small space, or what seems to be a small space, if that makes sense. So in our last video, if you remember, the kitchen wasn't quite done. We were still waiting on countertop, so it looked pretty incomplete. We're gonna go there in a second. I just want to kind of tour you the rest of the house before we do that. So we got bedroom number 1 here. Like I said, this house is a really small house. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath, about 1,000 square feet. Bedroom number 2 here. And then, I mean, yeah, we are in really tight quarters. Bedroom number 3 here. What I like about these smaller homes, 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,000 square feet, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet, whatever the case may be, very, very good like entry-level flip product. I mean, one, if you're getting started, they're phenomenal. They're low risk, but still, I've flipped many, many houses, and I still love these because they're just very low risk. There's not a lot that can go wrong in them. It's very easy to budget how much we're gonna spend in renovation due to the size. I don't wanna say you can't go wrong, but you have the lowest chance of going wrong in a house like this. So here's the bathroom. As you can see, I mean, you can barely turn around in this thing. But again, the bright side of that is it's very cheap to reno this bathroom. You can see here, we just did a tub shower surround. We didn't get fancy with any sort of tile or glass door, which you can do on a higher end home, or at least a median price point home. This is in a lower price point neighborhood. So we just don't need to spend those extra dollars in order to sell this thing. Just a basic tub shower surround from Home Depot. It's a 3-piece insert, and they look good for what it is. And then just a new bathtub as well. So the bathroom's been fully renoed. We just use cheaper materials. All right, so let's go check out the kitchen. So as you can see, kitchen turned out great. I think it looks phenomenal. It's light, it's bright. However, it is small, but we are in a very small house, like I had mentioned. So we were able to save some money on this kitchen in a few different ways. And again, the only reason we're doing that is due to the neighborhood that we're in and what the buyers in this type of neighborhood is demanding. So lower price point home, we're not gonna put the highest end finishes as we would in a higher end home, right? So these cabinets, all straight off the shelf from Home Depot, they look great. They're quality build. They're not gonna have all of your soft close doors and soft close, drawers and hinges and everything. They function as they should, they look good, but they're just a more affordable option for a kitchen. In addition to that, we don't do any backsplash in this type of home. We're not gonna do any backsplash, so we save a little bit on tile there. We're doing a basic appliance pack. We're not getting fancy with any, Viking range or any sort of high-end dishwashers or anything like that. It's just a very basic appliance pack, and we don't do a fridge. So that saves about $1,000 right there. Some of the mistakes I see a lot of rookie flippers make is basically over renovating the houses based on the neighborhood that they're in. Again, there's a tiering system that I always look at that's like, hey, if it's a lower entry point home, I'm gonna put lower finishes. If it's a mid-level home, I'm putting mid-level finishes. $1 million plus home, we might spend 10 grand on an appliance pack versus 2 grand. I'm not gonna put Home Depot cabinets in a $1 million price point home. What I see a lot of newbies do is they'll come in here and instead of doing a budget kitchen like this, which by the way, I think looks phenomenal, they're gonna come in here, they're gonna get their custom cabinet maker to make them new cabinets, put a more expensive granite or quartz, which this is a quartz, it's still a nice product, but it's not the highest end quartz you can buy. They're gonna be doing backsplash, and they're definitely not going with a budget appliance pack. Yes, it's a budget appliance pack, but again, stainless steel, looks great. They're brand new. Newbie house flippers will compress their margins or even go backwards on a deal or not pull the trigger on a house like this because they can't make the numbers work given how they're budgeting their repairs. So there's a couple other areas that I see newbie flippers missing. What I see a lot of times is people will replace things that really don't need replacing for the silliest reasons. So one of the items that we were able to save, a big item in this house, was the windows. As you can see, they're like a wood grain vinyl. They are not by no means in perfect condition, and they certainly don't match our, white on white color scheme, but it'd be silly to just replace these windows due to color given the neighborhood that we're in at the price point that we are gonna be selling this home for. So by saving these windows, we were probably able to save $5,000 off of the renovation budget. So a couple other areas we were able to save on our renovation budget was the siding. So as you can see, this is older siding. This is just a cedar shake siding in good shape. We're able to paint it. It's functioning as it should. So we were able to save a lot of money in not having to do any siding. The main cost saver here, one of them, was the roof. Many people looked at this house, they said, hey, they would be replacing the roof, it needed to go. I looked at this roof and had it professionally looked at, and there's 10 plus years left on this roof. It's not just newbies, it can be veterans who just don't take the time to dig on certain items that can be saved. Because again, we shaved a ton of money off of the renovation budget by saving roof, windows, and siding. That's a massive ticket between those three to the tune of probably $25,000. We were able to save that on a renovation budget, which made this deal pencil much, much better for us. So we bought this house for $265,000. Our renovations ended up costing us $45,000, which brings our all-in number to $310,000. So we put this thing on the market and we listed it at $375,000, and it ended up selling. We are pending right now at $385,000. So that leaves us with a gross profit on this deal of $75,000. Now, of course, there's gonna be some real estate commissions, closing costs, things like that taken out of it, but still, all in all, phenomenal deal. We're gonna yield a nice profit on this thing, and I'm super happy about it. It was a low risk, easy flip. We're in and out of this thing fairly quickly. We'll be moving on to the next one here shortly. Well, that's it for today, guys. If you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like this one right here where we go do a full house flip in a crazy hoarder house. Go check it out and make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, see ya.